Good morning. Welcome to Zambia Blog Talk Radio. My name is Roger Charlie here in the prairies, -6 Nathan. And I presume it should be nice and warm in Texas. I don't even want to hear
Well, it's Texas cold. You know what I mean by Texas cold?
Texas cold. Yeah. Well, welcome. Today we have a special program. We are remembering our the late president who passed away yesterday, Mr. Rupiah Banda. Mr. Rupiah Banda was the 4th president of Zambia. He was 85 years old. So we want to take a moment here on Zambia Blog Talk Radio, try to just, think about some of the things we remember about this great son of Africa.
Yes,
Good or bad, being president is not an easy task.
no.
It is tough. Just try to be a committee chairman for a group of 10 people, then you find out that being a president, it is tough. Kasuluba, welcome, and good job on the mental health discussion.
Thank you so much, Uncle Roger. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. That's correct.
And also, Uncle Roger, please remind me, sorry, before you go ahead, I will need to inform the nation that you fulfilled on the promise you had made.
Oh, yes. So we were on the other show. That's wonderful. We'll talk about that. Yeah.
Sure.
So before we start the show, we have a song. One of those songs, Kasulu, I don't know if they still play them. Nathan and I, when we were growing up, there is a national morning. Those songs were played. So I don't know if you enjoy this song, but join us as we remember Mr. Rupiah Banda. And on the other side, we will look at some of his interesting aspects of his life. As recent as the last election, he was very, very critical in that election. Okay, So this Kasuruba, how was the news received in Zambia yesterday? The passing of Mr. Banda.
It wasn't taken quite easily, really. Everyone had the hope. We were very hopeful that he was on recovery and he was going to recover, and especially that he's the one who remained more or less like the father of the nation, you know. Yeah, you remember the pivotal role he played when the current president and the incumbent met at his premises, I think. Yeah, so I've been seeing all around social media platforms, people's statuses, and yeah, people are really sad that he's gone.
The surprising thing was that HH made a post just yesterday that he had visited him and he was in high spirits. So yeah, a few hours later, then announcing the passing. That was surprising. What comes to your mind, young Kasulu? Were you so young when he was president, or you were old enough? Did you vote for him, or you were too young to vote by then?
So I remember I was eligible to vote, but at that time I had apathy. I never used to vote to
other things to do.
No, apathy. I never used to vote. Yeah. Yeah, but I was old enough, actually, the time that he was a leader, and I remember a number of things. Yeah, though, like obviously any other president is making fun of this and that. I remember the Kanitundila incident, you know.
Oh yeah.
You know, that kind of a thing. But all in all, the way I remember him was he was quite a peaceful man. Even when he was aggrieved, he took a different approach. He knew how to come out. He had this quite a good sense of humor. I remember from maybe some press conferences, or they would ask him about the opposition. Yeah, and he was a good man, and he was also straight. You know, I remember some statements when there were wrangles here and there. Then he could pass. Are there some Tumbuka statements or whatever? Yeah. So I remember him for that.
Yeah,
And during his rule as president, the nation was very peaceful. Maybe other issues or whatever, and in terms of peace, yeah, in terms of peace, a friendly atmosphere, Zambia was that.
Yeah. Nathan, your brief of this man. If there is one person we hounded as Zambians, chased away from power, it was one of them.
Yes.
Let's not even lie.
Let's not even lie about it.
Yeah.
One thing to Kasuluga's point is that he was a very jovial personality.
He was a happy guy.
He was a happy guy. Look at most of the pictures around, okay?
Yeah.
He's either smiling or he's laughing very brilliantly. I mean, it was flamboyant. He was one of those who was not ashamed to express himself, in spite of being at that level of leadership, to express himself in his own language or his own mother tongue.
Yeah.
You know, he spoke the language, and like I was telling, I always tell people that, you see, even for those of us who preach, at times certain things are better expressed in the language. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
If you say it in Michisungu, it doesn't come out the same way. If you say it in Bemba, Nyanja, Tonga, Lozi, or whatever. So Arabi was that personality, you know, always making light of moments. And you can tell from what a lot of people have posted on their pages when they've interacted with him. He was
do you think we are liking Arabi now now that we have had this experience in our PF, now we realize that Kanshi, we had a good man in office, probably.
Aren't we always like that?
I think we are always like that.
Didn't Kaunda become a hero after he left office?
You can say that. You can say that again.
Here is the thing. One characteristic about RB's rule or administration, we looked at him as being weak. Okay, he let the people around him do what I said. We looked at him as being weak. I didn't say he was weak.
Yeah.
Please don't quote me wrong on that. Those of you who are watching. Although I don't want to use the word that I like to say that it doesn't really matter to me what your little opinion is. I mean, we looked at him as being weak because if you see, it's almost like those were around him, Venadora Slia, all those MMD people that he found there. And you also need to understand that RB's MMD was a different type of MMD because almost all those you may call the founding group or team had phased out. And Mwanawasa brought in his people. So RB also sort of started like creating his own MMD.
Like everyone else does, yeah.
Like everybody else does. I mean, Edgar Lungu's PF was not Michael Sata's PF.
Correct.
Remember when Edgar became president, all those Venasichinga, Chikwanda, they were sidelined and phased out. So he brought about an MMD. And we all thought he was weak because they were arrogant. They did whatever they did. You'd even, when ministers would make statements, you'd even say to yourself, what does that, did they even talk about this in cabinet meeting or what? Where did that come from?
Yeah.
You see that kind of situation. But to your point, that's the nature of humanity. We always want to celebrate a human being when they die, and we say all these things about them. He had his own challenges in his administration, but the point was that we didn't have this Kadarism that we saw in the
Kadarism. We had the I don't know if it is the hating we just experienced in the past administration. When a Microsoft would say anything they wanted to say. I don't know if they were using Chimbuya, they were using that, but it's like it's never even bothered him. You know, it's like and probably that's where we saw that, oh, maybe he's weak.
Yes,
because he was not reacting to stuff like that. Yeah.
The other issue I would like to bring out is the reason why. RB has been celebrated more, I feel, after leaving government, even before. Yes, after leaving office, even before his demise, sentiments towards him changed and the way people talked about him. But I feel we did not appreciate him much, or Zambians did not appreciate him much, because I think we have this issue of when the incumbent maybe passes on and the next leader is not one that we voted for or we wanted. There's always that thing for, he wasn't even in line. He just came in, you know? You get that?
Yeah.
And those are the comments I used to get. I used to hear and people saying, no, he's not even worth being this and that. It's only because Manawasa died, and you know, that kind of a thing. Those were the issues that
well, that's what the
were being raised. Yeah. So and there were other allegations that came in and came through. Yeah, but peace, we take peace for granted. You know, comparing, let's say the regime that came after MMD, that Kadarism, the hostility in Zambia, you know, that kind of a thing. During RB's reign, I don't remember such things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do not remember such things. Yeah, yeah.
While we chased him out of State House, the man was the economy under him was very good. The country was growing at 7%. The growth. But it's like my friend Musawa yesterday said he was hounded by Michael Sata. You know, Michael Sata was just ruthless guy.
Yeah.
Corruption. You know, this guy can't even stay in the office. Corruption. But I think we are all saying goodbye to a good man. Mr. Arabi was born in 1937. Let me quote the exact February 19, 1937. That's when he was
2
born.
days. We are 2 days apart birthdays.
Oh, okay.
I'm February 17.
You could be president material. Who knows?
You know what will happen if I become president.
Yeah. So it was 85, and I think the country has the right to mourn this son of Africa. There is now a national mourning.
How long is national mourning, Kasula?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I know it started today. I didn't get the memo as to the duration.
Yeah.
Okay. The president said they announced the day of burial. I listened to that. Do we have that clip of HH? No. I actually wanted to post it on here, but I should have done it.
Yeah. So, but we hope. I know this is the right time actually to talk about this. When we talk, I don't know even what to call it. The day of national mourning. Can't we mourn a leader like him while we are playing soccer? Can't people mourn a leader like him while we are having our wedding? Can't we remember him? To me, it's like we can't stop Kasuruwa going backwards all the time. This national mourning started way back, but I think this he was a happy man in my view.
Yeah.
Let's celebrate him as happy, not anything else. If you had planned your wedding on what is today, on the 12th of today, your wedding is cancelled. I remember, this man can be celebrated without cancelling anything. My proposal right now is that we need a parliamentary debate. Should we be closing everything when a leader dies, or should we be celebrating them? Okay, some of us, we live here, Kasuruwa. Former presidents die all the time. Nothing changes. The Super Bowl is going on. Whether who was that, even the current president has died, the Super Bowl is going on. They're not touching it. This is one lesson I think Zambia we should, because we are mourning, business should not come to stand still. Yeah. Let's celebrate the man.
Exactly, Uncle Roger. Just in addition, because usually when they say dark cloud has befallen, I'm like, we should celebrate the life of this man. We should say, yes, wow, this is the man who has served. And Arabi is a special case because Arabi started serving at 24, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he was quite young. Yeah.
He was in foreign service at a very tender age. So we need to celebrate what he has done. And he was a soccer fan, soccer lover, even organize a tournament or a game remembering RB.
Yeah.
Campbell, if you're able to log in, come up here. Come up here.
Yeah, come here, Campbell. Where is Campbell? We do not want to be canceling things, and the people who had the events, instead of mourning and celebrating the son of the country, they are now furious because they have spent all this money, and on the 11th hour you tell them no because someone has died. I think we need a parliamentary debate. Should we be closing business, sports, and stuff when a leader dies? The answer from me is no. A big no. Let things go as they are. Next up, Arabi was brought together, the current president and the outgoing or the gone, Mr. Lungu. Remember, Nathan, on this show, we said, who is the kingmaker in Zambia?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what Wakasonso said. Oh, Wakasonso said it was the Zambian people. Question: Do you think how smoothly? How smooth? This is just pushing our imagination. How smoothly did he make that transition to be between Lungu and the HH? Do you think when Lungu Ngabadi Kosa without him, or he was going to go anywhere, but Arabi also added on that, so that it is flawless, the Zambian way we do it. I thought that was very, very critical for him to call the two of them at home. And we see HH up to now, I think, is very, very much attached to the man. Is very attached to Arabi, which I really appreciate. So, what role did you see play Arabi, Nathan, in the transfer of power between HH and Mr. Edgar Lungu, the remaining father of the nation?
Others have said he's an uncle, not a father. Here's the way I'll respond to this. There's a lot. Obviously, we were given that highlight by by the media, okay? ECL, HH, Arabi standing there, and I think that was the African Union gentleman who was overseeing the elections. When they're at that moment, the reason I mentioned that is to make this, there's obviously a lot that goes on behind the scenes which we are not aware of. Okay. There's always this sentiment of saying an incumbent African president does not give up or surrender power, blah, blah, whatever. As funny as that may sound, I would like to believe, excuse me, there was a lot going on behind, and Arabi definitely did play a role. Because you see, even him in his situation, Zambia we are just a unique people, Roger.
Yeah.
He had every reason. It's like what do you call it, Kasulova, like Monica and Wahema were saying, things start from home.
Yes.
Whether we like it or not, KK set a standard and a precedent. Roger, he handed over power when he was one person who could have said these elections are cancelled. The women, remember, he asked the question, he said the women didn't vote.
Yeah.
These elections are cancelled. I need to understand why the women didn't vote. Number two, KK's term, and we don't even talk about this or mention this.
Yeah.
KK's term wasn't over. He decided to call an election. And I know some people will argue and say MMD put him under pressure. Okay, whatever your reasoning is, fine. Bottom line is his term of office was not over. He decided to go ahead with early election. The reason I'm making those points is to make us understand that a precedent is set, a standard is set, an example is set. And when an example is set, a precedent is set, a level of doing business is set, you are only a fool to move away from that level of standard. KK handed over power. Fast forward to your question, Roger. I think all the other gentlemen that followed, we've only had men presidents, all the other men that followed realized and said, this is the way it's done around here.
Around here,
you know what? This is how it's done around here. When the ECZ, obviously, they'll be behind the scene and say, oh, you know the way we do They tell them behind the scenes and say, oh, Mr. The two presidential candidates, I believe that's how they do it. They say, Mr. President, this is how the figures are looking like. We just want you to know. And then there's a lot of whatever going on behind. Well, there are stories. We've heard these things before that, you know, American embassy got involved, the German, blah, 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 and all these people, they got involved. And there's a lot that goes on behind.
Has done well to come, so he can defend his thesis here. He can defend his thesis, whatever.
I don't
even know what it means.
Let me finish this and Cambo. You see, so a precedent is set, and then you can just go. So let's go to Cambo. So who started this thing of canceling people's weddings when somebody dies? My argument is that, look, I know it's a national leader, Cambo. We are not directly related. How does that affect me? Come on, that's okay. You defend your thesis like Roger said.
I like that. How does that affect me? How does this affect me?
Yeah. So how does that affect me?
No, I think that for me personally, I think it's carrying on a tradition, right?
A bad one.
No.
Okay.
But
what tradition, Cambo? Everybody watching that comment you see there, never let Tambabon say that comment you see there, this is the man.
This is the man who has
you're asking me a question.
You know how we do things. We are Zambians.
In your mind.
You remember that expression at Nikamba na Okambulu.
So no, I think that especially for young Zambians, new generation, I think that it is important for us to maintain intambi in terms of collective mourning, right? I think there are very, very few opportunities that we have as a nation where we can be brought together in corporate sorrow, right? Unless it is a national tragedy like we lost our national team. But I think it is such moments remind us of our commonality as Zambians, that when you mourn, we mourn. Remember when growing up, you know, even in my neighborhood, you know, somebody dies and women will come around and they would collect meal, they would collect whatever contributions. It wasn't so much about the funeral home had no means, but rather we as a community, as a neighborhood are mourning with you. And so I think, especially for a man of his stature who has been involved in civil service since he was, 26? As one of the youngest diplomats, I think it befits that we as a nation, even just for a day, we pause to say, listen, here's a young person who started as a young person and served our nation gallantly in several capacities. And I think this is an opportunity for us to come and mourn him together. So in if you're in Dela, because you know what is happening in Zambia is that this YouTube, internet, Mnet generation have no concept of togetherness. You know, there are certain things that people have forgotten. No kuangala fe panse. You know, like per neighborhood. People have lost all those simple traditions that we had. So I think that's why for me it's okay that we can pause and mourn for a man of his stature.
No, you know why kids can't play outside anymore? We have this issue of people abducting children, which wasn't there when we were growing up. We used to go away from home they will shout and call you. You won't even hear because you've gone way off. Now you can't. The world has changed.
Let's talk about collective mourning. How take to me collective mourning abantu baya ku wedding.
Kushama wedding na wachita cancel na imwe.
Barachita cancel ma wedding.
Wena imwe wachita cancel.
They do, Cambo. They do.
They do cancel.
I don't know.
Show me one person who has cancelled their wedding because Arabi died na imwe.
No,
they don't.
Saying because of Arabi's death. Generally,
no, not Arabi's death. Generally, that's why you call if we ever kalamba pano.
Talking about cancelling, there were some games that were going on.
Yes, and the video is there. Yes.
Yeah, there were games that were going on and they were cancelled. I think in some places from 16. So the competitions were just put on hold and they were told to say, no, you won't continue national mourning. They did cancel, yes.
And that's okay.
No,
but Roger. And this is what I'm saying, if you're
especially mwema leaders about bingo. When Jesus says, let the dead go bury themselves, Jesus is saying, do not abandon what you are doing because of the dead. Don't abandon. Let the dead bury themselves. He's not saying let the chitumbi go by itself and bury itself. No. All he's saying is don't abandon what you are doing. Continue doing what you are doing. Life has to continue.
No, but I think for me...
That's a scripture.
Yeah, scripture, you will leave it to interpretation. You
are teachers of scripture. You tell me if I'm
here as a Zambian.
No, you are here as a Zambian and
the man of the cloth.
As Cambo is responding, those watching, should social events be cancelled? That's a question.
Should social events be cancelled? Yes, talk to us. Should social events be cancelled when a leader dies? We would like to hear from you.
No, and Roger, Chimono Kweba, this is what I'm talking about in Tambi. I think we have also lost the concept of some of these people becoming viewed as fathers and mothers of the nation. Right? And I think that is where it's coming from. Like if the father of the house dies, who celebrates? Right? If the father of the house dies, everybody pauses. I don't care what you are doing. You say, you know what, I'm a fiashubafo. You know, let me change my program.
So you know, my neighbor, I'm a neighbor's bone set up.
It depends on the influence that you have a fiashubafo. You know? Like, no, but if you have a fiashing about what in the neighborhood, you have a bashkuru bafo.
Kula pitira fe kulia, mwila pitira papa apa lichiro yo. Mule pitira kulia, eko mule ishida.
So you push kwene. What is your beef? Is this
the beef is that biblically. Wait. Biblically and today. Do you know how much it costs to set up a Super Bowl game? It is in millions.
It's not in millions.
The billions. I'm activate here Super Bowl. One 130 seconds. Hold on,
okay, sorry.
Here is the young Kasuluba. He's been planning to get married on the 12th. He started when did he start?
Oh, sorry.
Economically, this is not good for the economy. People plan events way in advance. Elo masa Africa for one day. Iyo to isana ma events mwandu wakweba kuli chiliro ba leader na ba.
The other point I would like to bring in, for me personally, the issue I am seeing is, remember, people used to complain when you look at the past president, Mr. is it Dr. Edgar Chagalungu? For every, let's say, if there's going to be a holiday on a Tuesday, the way that we had, in Zambia, there was a holiday on a Tuesday. So most likely, even Monday was going to be a holiday. Yeah. What was the complaint to that? The complaint was that no, productivity is going down. We cannot be having so many holidays. Businesses need to go on as usual, productivity, profitability, and things like that. Okay. So then that one is a problem because the economy is being affected. Similarly, there are activities or businesses that are being done that are directly or indirectly benefiting the nation. So if you're going to cancel a certain you're going to put something on hold, it's the same thing. You're still again putting the economy on hold.
No. Tell us the economic value.
Okay, so first of all, what is the argument here? Is the argument
that we should stop canceling stuff when our leaders die?
Okay, so how many days of national mourning do we have?
It doesn't matter how many days, not even 1 day, not even 30 seconds.
No, but Roger, it matters. Okay,
No.
so for example, the former president died yesterday.
Tell us what is the value of canceling things.
Can I make my case?
Okay.
Number one, first of all, what my friend has talked about in terms of every holiday in Zambia we were having, the president would wake up and say, tomorrow we are also.
Wasn't every holiday.
Oh, it wasn't every holiday. Okay,
mostly,
most of them we have too many. In other words, there were too many holidays in Zambia, right? And I made an argument some time back for that kind of culture is not good for productivity. Okay. But when it comes to things like national mourning, I think that there's a compromise that we can reach. For example, half-day productivity happening in the country, right? Maybe the day of the burial, we have, that holiday where we remember the president. No, but Roger, you're complaining about a couple of days where the economy has been halted. Corona. You remember how that corona hit us and we stopped for a virus and you were still reeling from the virus?
Well, that supports our argument.
No, but no, what is it?
Tradition. Or to feel it to watch Dave. In terms of what did corona teach us? When corona happened, I was if it done, Kasulu. Let's listen from Kasulu.
Okay, on that one, I might not give out an outright answer, but then if there were people that were gathering, then it was illegal. They were doing it. Because I'm not saying there were no people that were gathering, but then if they were doing that, it was
of course.
It's like
so not kwatako presidency but traditions yamo twalikwata traditions yamo. However, our traditions we can put them on the side, which to have become a tradition yashala.
Okay. If you stuck off a worry if you are because at the end of the day we're losing ourselves.
No, we are not losing ourselves. If you talk about umuntu nomba ave na poa unomulunga inokwata wedding aona ulenda la mashons alata fire la mashimbi. Trust me, there are certain things which are done. One day you need to pay all over again.
Roger, who has cancelled the wedding because of Arabi's funeral? I'm telling you,
we're not talking about Arabi's funeral, Cambo. That's been the tradition over the years. It's just that I don't know. Kasuluba can't remember, or maybe it hasn't been said maybe I should check behind the scenes as we are talking. Then what is the period of national mourning? Usually it's 14 days or 7 days. The president just said, we shall announce a day of burial. So you and I know, Kambo, being Zambians, until the burial day, it doesn't matter how long, it's national mourning until the burial day. And this is a former head of state.
No,
you know they need to prepare. First of all, Paria, where do they go? What do you call it? What do you call that place where they've buried Venachilwa? What do they call the place? Ambassador, what?
Ambassador, funeral.
What do they call the place, Kasuluba? Okay, once a while. They have to prepare the place.
Embassy something.
Embassy cemetery. Is that what they call it?
Yes. I think so.
You see, they have to prepare. They have to get into those things. I know they have to engage a contractor. Remember when they made the mistake on Kaunda's spelling on the tombstone and all those things. It's a what? It's a national funeral.
Yes. So listen, Vanessa, if I'm you're partially correct. But here's the thing, right? Unless the president has said we're going to have 14 days of national mourning where things are going to be closed. Because we have had days of national mourning where business has continued as usual. Flags have flown at half-mast. All right? So the national mourning does not mean we're going to spend the next 2 weeks
It's not only Arabi.
Even when Kaunda died, there was productivity that was happening, gentlemen. It wasn't like we stopped. My Zambian friends there would tell you we didn't stop for 2 weeks.
No, to some degree,
I don't know what's the productivity we're talking about. We are talking about social events. Let's
okay, when it comes to work and all that, no, those continue.
Those continue, but we are talking about social events. Social events is part of the economy. Let's remember that. Yeah.
Oh,
anyway,
I'm checking something here. I don't know how true it is, but then it's saying that the duration is 7 days. Yeah.
7 days national mourning.
7 days, yeah. But
because you see, in his speech to announce or make a presidential statement about Arabi's death, HH didn't stipulate that. He didn't say. I remember the other presidents would stipulate the period of national mourning. One. They would even go to the extent of saying all social events are cancelled. They would say that.
Maybe HH is just a different.
Of course, this is a different year and a different breed. So, it's not fair.
It's not fair. Yeah, well, no, upon they're saying that we're canceling all social events, then I would agree with you. But me, I know, like, if the government just says national mourning, nobody's canceling for any social event unless stipulated.
Do you know that even at times Wakapokola used to move in and stop you from doing things? I don't know whether they took that upon themselves or they were instructed.
To me, if we prove you wrong, Kambo, we need to take this to Parliament, and there has to be a law, especially with the living president himself. He should declare the day I'll die. Please go on with events. Celebrate me in whatever you are going to be doing. You celebrate me. Yes. I'm just saying while you are saying yo intambi, scripture is actually against if you're intambi. Scripture it tells us if you're keeping intambi, the new law is this. Therefore,
since you came into my arena, let me
those who were running things by the old law. What does the new law says? No, the new law says this.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
So, Roger, let me tell you, theologically, and Vanessa can back me up on this, theologically speaking, right? There are certain things in culture.
Let the dead bury themselves. You interpret for me.
There are certain things in culture that Christ is for. So Christ is for culture and certain things. Then there are certain things in culture that happen where Christ is against culture. Then the third level is where Christ is above culture, right? There's a transcendency that happens. So Jesus himself made accommodation for cultural expressions. Okay. So just because he says to the Jewish community to say, let the dead bury themselves, in that context, it makes sense where Christ might look like he's against culture. Okay. But we have to look at the deeper scriptural meaning of that. What does that mean? And I think you pointed to it yourself, where Christ is kind of pointing to the fact that, your life should not come to a standstill because of this that has happened. And a standstill is not for a day, right? He's saying to them, your mourning must have a period, and thereafter you must move on, right? He is not saying you should not mourn, or that the dead, like you said, the dead should bury themselves literally, right? What he's trying to draw there is the kind of weight that people gave to mourning the dead just went beyond, right? So that is where you could say that Christ is against culture in that respect. But I think we see from scriptural precedents that there's so many areas where God is for culture. He affirms the things that happen in culture, not because they are directly from him, so to say, but they're things that are good and they help the collective. So if you have a social event, we can agree to disagree. I agree that, United Munji today are getting married, Campbell to president now. Therefore,
tavalele mayiro watukalate bola kuntu eno ba youth. Iyo fiance fio consort.
So now it's cancel by used to watch theater. It's okay. They'll leave. They can play another day.
No, Kuwai Kambo, if you remember, Tuale Kwata certain events in Tutuali Abaich. Bakombe. Do you remember in Tuale Kuwai in Tutuale Kula? Kwale Vati Mairo Limbikuka Babola, Bankana Bakalate, Bakombension. Bankana Bakalate, and about power. Bola yale tampa 3 o'clock. Twale ingira muchibanza kuma 10. Na levuka kuma 3 ya bushiku. Ule umfwaka mwa events efonde kwe. 3 ya bushiku. Nimbuka. Elo inendise mbuki oruchelo. Kuse munte wati yona mchita cancer. You know how painful that would be?
Of course, that also trying to teach you a lesson in life. You want to always get what you want, regardless of how much you prepare.
Do you agree that events when the leaders die should be cancelled?
Yeah, I was just trying to say to him, I apologize for that.
Should we cancel things?
Good morning, good afternoon, Wakasuruboko. I think things should never be cancelled. It's just it's national mourning. It's an announcement that's made. We don't want to have big government in our lives. So Ngabalanda national mourning, that's okay. But it's upon Umuntu and their decency to maybe cancel or not. Trying to impose will be very wrong. Whenever you invite government to be that instrumental in our lives, that's a problem right there. So I don't think Abantu should be harassed for not canceling the events. And I don't think that's what the president is trying to imply.
No, it's not trying to imply.
It has been a precedent. Yes. Police will come and harass you. It's wrong.
Yes, they would. I remember that. Wrong. I remember a friend, they disrupted the wedding and said, you know what? Bakombe has made a very good point here, gentlemen, and everybody watching. Out of decency, okay? That will accept, not imposing and saying all social events of any nature are cancelled. They would say that in the announcement. HH didn't say that. I was just listening to it here. He just said, we're going to have national mourning, burial date to be announced. That's where he ended. The other presidents who categorically state no social events will be allowed.
Very quickly, before Kasuluba comes in with his announcement, which Zambia Book Talk Radio, we did meet our, I don't know if it's our obligation or our promise. I don't know what year was this. Mkuba Secondary School. Boom. Bamkuba, who grew up Ukitwa? Who grew up Ukitwa? Tamudi bena kopala
in and out to Kito, but
anyway, Mukuma Secondary School and the Kitwe boys were always,
of course,
one of the reasons I think babi na wakashana babi kile pakati in kaunda eba lelenga it was so kwa neba competition ngamalusa waka mimwena on this day if what were pekenye your week ngakwabo kwisala if you remember wakombe ama variety shows balekota ama variety shows and we were organizing what we were supposed to do shan the Kid boys if you talk about Friday the Kid boys back with the Saturday ama variety show and these were huge Kasuluba in our time. These were huge. Every fiber was given to this. Lo and behold, Pasande Kwaisabich. Boom. All events cancelled until Saturday, Kawashik. So the only day Shereko was Sunday. Shale the whole night. Pisa buka lucherocho nadishive bantu disco oko barei karama guys. Lucherocho napanga ndana yako mkonsha. Guys, kuri national morning. Sunday. To booking any Sunday. Oh, if what she never that she were from Mamutulo. In an idea for news last night. They left Mamutulo Rababusha. Today for a Sunday. Def Makofi, back the boys of Africa.
Could
for a Sunday. Eh? A comedy could have bumped up in a guys having a film or touch the organized once.
Yes.
Yes. Africa. What? Oh, na to the fire. Oh, to the fire Sunday. Ah, I'm going to be second. Ah, let me say, ah, we, but I'm telling you, of me, ninja, only be Mukua Muguleta Mimbuna Shim. Because I'm studying him for serious. It was this serious. That's what I'm trying to tell this man.
I should have dealing with childhood trauma.
It was this serious.
But if I can counseling, one come and show you what
my brother was standing in solidarity.
Combo. It was this serious. Twakumana bamkuba twalisa parapene papa town pastor ni sastropo yaba. Twakumana na bantoni kene. Tule study in force. Takudi fakutinda date yesu. Bese ko abacheba ngwele ba boys bese ko twatinya. Nishimwe bachema. If it were win in a day. It was this. I agree with you. I wouldn't want a lot of people to be going through that.
I remember it's a project, but you can be projecting.
I wouldn't want a lot of families, but I'm wedding. Na venda, na bafuma kumushi, na bafuma kulusaka na vesa, ati yo, that's a cancel wedding. Na bafuma kuisa, kuli event, yo, that's a cancel event. Ninshi, abana. With all due respect, this has to stop. And we will make sure we push it in Parliament. The law should be passed. Anyone who dies, there will be no national mourning events cancelled.
Before Kasuluba comes in, Kasuluba, I actually forgot to say this on the first show. Those of you in Zambia, I think Europe and the Western Pacific, remember guys, I think in Canada, tonight we are changing the time.
Yes.
So Kasuluva, from next weekend, the show will be starting at 1600 hours your time, not 17.
Okay.
Because we are changing the time out here.
Yeah.
And I think by Europe, it will be 3 p.m.? I don't know when they change the time. I'll check with my relatives there. They'll tell me. So I just wanted, I know Zambia to be 1600 hours.
16 hours.
And we shall make sure.
For that to change, more affected.
Yeah. So I thought I should mention that Western Pacific, it will also go back 1 hour. And just pay attention to that, please.
Okay.
So we had a challenge here on Zambia Blog Talk Radio. What was that? We challenged the people to make an investment, and Zambia Blog Talk Radio will match them. Mr. Kasurova, I don't know if it's your testimony here.
Yeah. I'm excited to share. So we had a show where we're looking at various technological advances by especially the young people in different countries who have developed wonderful applications using their smartphones. It was during that show. So during that show, Zambia Blog Talk Radio through Uncle Roger here made a promise to say, those that are going to save money in Patumba through MTN and then show proof to say they had put in that amount. He was encouraging the saving culture, obviously. He was going to double whatever amount that person was going to put in their Patumba account. Yeah. So I remember telling him to say, okay, I was going to take up the challenge. So what I did was got out my 1,000 kwacha worth of savings that I had been putting away. You put away 5 kwacha, 1 kwacha. You remember, Uncle Nathan, that jug?
Yes.
Yeah. So, that challenge I started in October, so it amounted to 1,000 kwacha.
Cool.
Just coins.
Just coins
kwacha.
in 1,000 kwacha.
Not coins plus 5 kwachas, 2 kwachas, just like that. Yeah, 20 kwachas. So that's the what I decided to say. You know what? I'm taking this and I'm throwing it into Patumba. So I'm going to save it. And then I used that money, contacted Zambia Blog Talk Radio through Uncle Rogers, like, I have done the doing. So what next? He was like, oh, I'm going to double. And he sent me the 1,000 kwacha. So came to 2,000 kwacha.
So now, so 2,000 is in Patumba. Those who have, is it MTN? Kasura, you should also check on Airtel what to do on Patumba to get Patumba. What we are going to encourage, especially the young people, is you know, this is a wonderful way they are teaching them to save for. Was it what is his name? Chimamba Kanyama, who told us to open accounts for fertilizer, open accounts for this. Don't inconvenience me because of your lack of planning, he said. Yeah. We know a lot of expenses will come along the way, but we don't plan them. When we talk about bad culture, Brother Campbell, those are part of the things we need to defeat.
Correct.
Yes, we need to correct. So through Kasuluva, probably we will be doing a small workshop with Zambia Blog Talk Radio, call young people, encourage them to come. We might find sponsors, who knows? So if a young person opens an account, saves 100 kwacha, we'll find someone to match them with 100. So we want to start that culture. Remember, Nathan, we were talking about this in the area show. Yes. We only want to talk about these problems when we are old. Saving when we are old. Mental illness when we are old. You know. Now it's too late now to start changing people's minds.
Mindsets. Yeah.
We would like to start to do programs like that on Zambia Blog Talk Radio, where we we go in schools, we support program. So congratulations once again, Mr. Kasuluba, for meeting the challenge.
Awesome.
Please don't go back to the Patumba and withdraw, let it grow. You are still young, you know. Yeah. So I don't know if we have reached a conclusion, Brother Cambo. Some of us are going all the way to Parliament.
We've agreed to disagree.
We have agreed to disagree. Who supports you, my brother? Go ahead.
Okay, yeah.
Now I empathize with you. See, I understand now.
You are convicted.
I'm not convicted. I said I understand. I empathize.
No, I empathize with someone coming from Chipata for a wedding, just to be told how it could.
It's been cancelled.
Guys. We mourn you, happy man, and we want everyone to stay happy. You lived a good life. You never hate people. So go well, son of the soil. Rupiah Banda, 1937 to 2022. Rest in peace, son of Africa.
Yo